I'm Rebecca Gjostein. This is part 2 of the game of Taboo. Alright, let's take a look at another word. We need 2 more volunteers for the whats and the whos. Looks like the whats are in the lead. All to nothing. Come on, you guys. Let's get going. Guess anything. Who would like to volunteer? Teddy? Alright, thanks. Anybody gonna volunteer for the whats?
Jared.
You, strapping young lad, come on up.
Horatio.
Why don't you tell everybody what your name is?
Horatio.
Alright. Is everybody ready? Here's the next word.
An accountability for something. Parental, financial, legal.
Responsibility.
Good. That's another point for the whats. And the next word is?
Full grown, come to completion.
Maturity.
Maturity? Oh, you said maternity. Yes, maturity.
Maturity. Mature.
Good. And the last word in this set is?
Consecrated, sacred.
Yeah, holy.
Right, and another point for the whats. Good. Great, thank you. Have a seat, Horatio. Alright, let's talk about responsibility for a little bit. Responsibility is doing what you're supposed to do, right? So how many times have you heard, be responsible, be accountable, be trustworthy, be reliable with your duties and your obligations. It's nice to have someone to say that. It kind of gives you a little boost to your ego, right? And everybody wants and needs affirmation to succeed in life. But when you say that someone's mature, maturity takes it a little further because it says that you did a little bit more than what was expected of you, right? You didn't just do the minimum. It's fuller and more complete, and it's about being self-directed. You took it upon yourself, and you acted wisely, and you acted more grown up or more developed, right? And now holy, let's bring it up another notch. Holy seems kind of like a geeky word to some people. Think you're just like praying in church all the time, you don't do anything fun. Well, that's not true. We know that that's not true. Holiness, being holy is about being a true believer, right? It's about making good choices and about being good. Being holy means to be whole and complete. Like the spice flower, you will develop all of your personalities, your physical, your spiritual, your physical, your intellectual, your creative, and your emotional parts of you. We find God's prescription for holiness and happiness is in the Bible. God had a plan for you. He made you in His special image and brought you into this world. Being holy means being the person that God created you to be, not someone else, but you. And remember that different kinds of people become saints. Everybody's not perfect. Have you ever heard the saying that saints are sinners who keep on trying, right? Doesn't mean you're not perfect and you don't make mistakes. And they're usually filled with joy, aren't they? All right, let's move on to our last set of words. We need 2 more volunteers. Oh, Teddy, you are just right there with us. Anybody else? Come on up there, young man. Sorry, girls. Gotta raise your hand quickly. And what's your name? Don't be shy. It's okay. We're all friends here.
Hortense.
Okay. Let's move on to the first word, starting the timer, 26 seconds.
The act of refraining from, self-denial.
Abstain? Abstinence?
That's right, abstinence. And the next word.
Purity, restraint, continence.
Chastity.
Great. That's another point for the whats. Mark it on the board for them. You guys are beating the buzzer every time. And the last word.
Kindness, help, aid, support.
Great! The Who's got one! Way to get into the game! Good job! The word was charity. Good job, Teddy. Thank you. Thank you, volunteers. Have a seat.
Yay, Teddy.
Thanks, Teddy. You can go sit down, too. All right, let's talk about those words for a little bit. To abstain is to not do something, right? Or to deprive yourself of something, or to give something up. Like at Lent, we give up fish on Friday, right? We abstain from fish on Fridays. I'm sorry, meat. We abstain from meat, and we usually eat fish at fish fries. Thanks, Horatio. We hear it all the time about sexual intercourse. A lot of people are pushing this word abstinence, which is not a bad idea. It's not bad to abstain from sex before you're married, because it can keep you from a lot of painful consequences, especially if you're an unmarried teen person. But abstinence isn't a virtue, because virtues are for everybody, right? And everybody is not required to abstain from sex, right? So let's talk about chastity. We said that chastity is sexual respect for self and others, sexual reverence for the wonderful gift of fertility and the ability to give new life to a new person. Chastity is a virtue that rightly directs sexual energy. Chastity is purity in thought and words, and practices sexual restraint in relationships. And it's a good virtue, and it's a worthy virtue, and it's for everybody to practice. Single people practice chastity, married people practice chastity, religious people practice chastity. The whole purpose of chastity is to direct us to charity. Now, the kind of charity that we're talking about here is not necessarily giving food to the poor, but it could be related to that. We're talking about the love that puts others before us. It's Christian love, so loving as Christ wants us to love, and loving as Christ loves us. Charity goes to the heart of who we are and who we are to be in relationships with others. And that's to be loving persons with others. It's never doing harm to someone else, and it's always wanting the best for someone else, for the other person. So to be fully mature and a holy person, developing the virtue of charity is what will bring each of us to true happiness. Good job, everybody. We have the what's over here and the who's over here, and it was a hard fight, but the what's were victorious, and we're going to take this bag of candy, and let's give a round of applause for the what's. They did a great job, didn't they? A very, very, very wise team. Pass your candy around. Remember, just one. You don't want to leave some for everybody else. So, we talked about the who's and the what's. I said I'd explain those names to you. Who, we want to know, who will you be? A virtuous, holy, and loving person. That's what we all hope for you. And what will it take you to be all that you can be? To be this virtuous, holy, and loving person? Well, it's going to take making responsible and mature decisions, even when temptations are conflicting with your values, like your decision to live a chaste life. So we've had a lot of time to think about our goals and our dreams for the future. We're going to break up into small groups now and talk about some of the things that we would like to do with our future. Find your group leader and follow them to the room that you met in last, and have a good time. We'll see you when we get back.